Welcome everybody to English with Chris. This is part one of my series on grammar, and so I'm excited to make my very first video teaching English. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm a little nervous, but that's okay. I think I'm just going to try and have fun here with you guys today. And so hopefully by the end of this, you'll have a better understanding of the way English grammar works. And so today we're going to talk about the four main pieces of an English sentence. Okay, so sometimes I think, where should I start? And it's always an argument with myself. And so I think this is the best place to start. And so let's get to it. So if you look here on the board, I've got a sentence here. It says, I do it. And so I guess my first question for you is this okay? Right? I do it. What do you think? Well, actually, it's very much okay. And even though it's not common in English, it is a perfect, grammatically correct sentence. This is a good sentence, okay? And the reason for that is that many grammar books say English has three parts to the sentence. In my mind, it's four. And so I'm going to show you those parts right now using this sentence, okay? So the first part, I have a little, and I know an equation, right? But this, I'm not going to ask you to learn any more after this. And so this is just a way for you to picture it in order for me to, and once you see how we manipulate it or move the pieces around, it'll be much clearer, okay? So the first part of a sentence is the subject, and everybody probably knows that already. And so the subject is, the agent or the actor or the focus of the sentence. In this case, it's the word I. So there's piece number one, okay? So I am the focus of this sentence, okay? The next thing that you have to look at is the verb, okay? And so which one of these is the verb? I do it. Well, if you look up here, it's very easy to tell that it's this one. Okay, now what you have to think when you think about the verb is that that's the action of the sentence. It's very much the middle of the sentence, kind of holds everything together, but that's all it really does. It just kind of sits there, it gives meaning, of course, and do is very special because it's the bottom of meaning. And what I mean is that every action comes from the word do something. And in many languages, do something can be, a meaning that we can all express. If you think about it for a little while in your own language, do something, how would you say that? The meaning of that. And so you can think of this do as having like a zero meaning at this point. And you can use any verb here in English: run, talk, walk, sing, right? Play, anything can go here, okay? Then there's also another piece called the auxiliary. And that's a hard word sometimes to remember. It doesn't really matter if you remember the word. As long as you understand how it works, you're usually okay. And so the auxiliary in English is very, very important. And I put a star up here to indicate how important it is. And the reason is because the verb is an action, but the auxiliary gives us a context, a situation, a perspective, a point of view. And when I talk to my students, I often say the meaning or the function of an auxiliary is to give an action a perspective, either time, necessity. So time would be, like past, present, future that you guys learn, will do, did do, or perspective, necessity, I need to do, I must do, or other things, ability, like I can do, or past ability, I could do. And so what you're doing is you're taking an action, which is the verb, and an auxiliary, which is a perspective, and you're joining them together to create an action in the reality of the world, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. So they're very important and they interact together, and you cannot have in English a verb without an auxiliary. A lot of grammar books say that they're added sometimes. That's not really the case, because I believe that they're always here and that you're not adding them, you're moving them around. And so you understanding that they're present or here is really important in controlling English grammar. And then, of course, there's the old object or complement. We're not going to talk about this too much today. You may already know a little bit about it yourself, and that's okay. So that is something we may tackle in a future video. Today, I want to talk to you about this part, the auxiliary and the verb, especially the auxiliary, okay? Now, they're very different pieces, but we're going to focus on the auxiliary and why we use it. So let's go back to this sentence. I do it. And so what does that mean? Because meaning is very, very important. I told you this was okay, and it is, but it's only okay when you understand what it means. And so I do it is a way for us to be really strong. This is actually simple. You guys know it as maybe simple present. Now, I don't like using these names, even though they are familiar with you, so I will mention them sometimes, but simple present, okay? I prefer to think of simple present, and maybe I won't erase it first. Simple present is the grammar of truth, okay? And when I say truth, I mean fact or habit, truth about life, okay? And that's really important to understand here. So when we use, I'll just erase this. When we use simple present, I do it, we're talking about truth. But this, because you can see this right here, means strong truth. We use it only when we think other people don't believe our story. So for example, with my students, sometimes I say, what do you do? And we play a game. And you can do this with yourself at home, right? So you can say, what do? I run. No, I don't. I do run, right? Extra truth. You think that person doesn't believe me. So with my students, we'll do this. I'll say, what do you do? And they'll say, I play guitar. And I say, no, you don't. And they say, I do play guitar. And so it's a way of saying it is really a true statement. And so sometimes we do that because, again, other people might think we're not telling the truth. Or we just want to emphasize how important this particular truth is. So, this is not very common, but still common. Okay? Now, if I want to use it in a normal way, what I would do is so this is strong emphasis, right? And then we want to use normal, right? Just regular, because we don't want to talk like this every day. I do it. I do run. I do sit. Sometimes, yeah, but not very often, right? So to do that all the time would be a little strange or a little weird, right? So what we do is instead of separating them, we put them together, right? And so it just becomes this, like that. And actually, I should be using colors, but I'm not. So hold on a sec. Here, look. We can even do it a little color coded right? And so what happens is you join the two together. Now this doesn't happen all the time. Simple present or do. The auxiliary do is special because you can use it in a strong way. And there are two words down here that I'd like to show you right now. One of these words is called marked, where you can see it. So here, you can see the auxiliary, right? It's very clear. And so that's what we call marked. Unmarked, can't see. That's the normal version. So the auxiliary is the meaning of truth, which is still here in this sentence. And so I do it is the strong, I do it is the normal. So if you just ask me a question, hey, what do you do? I would just say, you know, I run once a week. I run twice a week. Truth about my life. If I think you don't believe me, I might say, I do run twice a week, right? And so that's the difference and how we use them in the meaning. Another function or another job of the auxiliary is to make the negative in English. Now the negative is the word not, right? We use that, we add it to the sentence. And so in English, when we add the not, it always attaches to the auxiliary. But you can see here, well, what's the auxiliary? Well, the auxiliary has been joined together here into this word. So when you see that, just if this was I run or I talk, you would understand that, oh yeah, right, this is do. So how do I make the negative? Well, I bring the auxiliary back out and it becomes don't or do not. Okay? And we can still have the subject and the object over here. And then the whatever the verb is, right? That's there. So you're just moving this meaning, this auxiliary piece, which means truth, or, you know, I don't do it, which is the negative truth, okay? And you're just moving it, right? So it's always here, strong, normal, negative, okay? Now, do is a hard one, so I'm kind of starting you off in a very difficult situation, but don't worry, we've got a few more examples in this first video, and we'll see how it goes from there, okay? But there's one more thing I want to show you, which is the question. That's the last thing. Well, not the last thing, but see, look, you get to learn how bad my spelling is, even as an English teacher, right? So the last one, or not the last one, but sort of they go together, is to make the question. Okay, and auxiliaries, fix that arrow there. And auxiliaries are used to make questions, right? Oftentimes I'll ask my students, what do you switch when you want to make a question? And they'll say, switch the subject and the verb. And I'm just like, no, right? It's not the verb, because if that was true, I run to school, the question would be, run I to school? And we all know that that's probably not correct. So what are you actually switching? Well, what you're switching is the auxiliary and the subject. So you're actually taking these two pieces and switching them. Either the positive, which is up here, and the negative, which is down here. So you can put either one of those in the front, and so the question would be, do I do it? And so you can see how this auxiliary piece moves through the sentence in order to create all these situations. So strong meaning, I do it. And so you should say that a little bit at home, you know. Maybe your friends are around, maybe they're not. But, you know, I do it, right? I do it. And you can feel the difference. And then I don't do it. And then do I do it? Right? And so what you're doing is you're moving these around. Now, I can put any verb in English into this position. This is the verb position, okay? And so it doesn't matter which verb I put in here, it's going to work. So I can use, well, we have to maybe take away the word it, right? So let's take away the object, because the object is not always there. But I can put any verb here. So I can say, I do run. I run. I don't run. Do I run? Don't forget your periods. Okay? Any verb. We could put, I do talk. I talk. I don't talk. Do I talk? Right? This is the form. This is it, right? Strong, normal, negative question. Okay? I can put teach. I do teach. I teach. I don't teach. Do I teach? Okay? And so you can continue, any verb can go here. And this is how the auxiliary for simple present, you guys know it as simple present, the grammar of truth, okay, works. So let's put it back in here. Let's do, I do, we can say watch TV, right? And TV would be your object. We can put it over here in green if you want, okay? And then it would be I watch TV, I don't watch TV, and do I watch TV? Or do you watch TV? Doesn't really matter. I don't care if you switch that or not. And that, this is a hard one too, because this one has one that's unmarked, right? This one right here, it's kind of like a secret, isn't it? I guess I should use red. It's kind of like a secret, isn't it, right? It's there because the meaning is there. And in grammar, we call that unmarked. And so it's still truth. It's just regular truth. I watch TV. You know, I watch TV. I watch TV shows. I play video games. I run sometimes. Not now, it's the winter. I do run in the summer. See, right? I want to make it stronger. So, and then the negative, the question, and then one more just at the end. When we ask questions, do I watch TV? When you make the short answer, yes, I do. No, I don't. That's also the function of the auxiliary. And there are many auxiliaries in English, and this is one of the more difficult ones. So I know I started with a difficult one, but now I would like to move to one that's a little bit more easy to understand, okay? Okay, so let's talk about will do. Okay, that's another auxiliary in English. And the meaning of will do is when we talk about future truth, right? I will make another video for you. So, you know, you're talking about the future, what's true in the future. And sometimes we also use it to talk about something we just decided. And the most common place for this is at like a restaurant where somebody asks you, you know, what do you want today? And you might say, I will have the fish. And you're making that decision right at that moment. Although it's not necessary, it's just something that's common, okay? So when we think about will do, we're thinking about in the future, the truth about the future, something that will happen, okay? In your life or in somebody else's life. So you can say, I will do something. You will do something. Something will do something. Someone will do something. And so that meaning, will do, it's two words, one meaning. Okay? And your verb is here. It's the same as the other one. Okay? So now when we make sentences, we're going to have a subject, and I'm just going to use I. Okay? And I'm going to try and switch colors better this time. We'll see what happens. Will. And let's use a real verb. Let's do I will sing. And then we can put over here, we'll just do it in black. Tomorrow. Okay, so future truth. Okay, so the same as before, we can accept this one, the strong, and the normal are just how you say it. So if you want to say this strong, you go, I will sing tomorrow, or I will sing tomorrow. You put the stress on the auxiliary. If you want to just say it normal, you just say, I will sing tomorrow. I will sing tomorrow. Okay? And so you can see sing is the action, right? That's the action. Sing, all right, sing. Will do gives you the reality, future, truth, right? And you put those together to create an action in reality, okay? And so then, well, we can make the negative, right? We can totally make the negative. I will not sing. Oop. That's I will not sing tomorrow. Okay? So there's the negative because the auxiliary always connects to the negative, as I said before. And then we want to make the question. What do? We switch these two again. And we say, will I sing? And then tomorrow. Same as and we gotta, don't forget your question mark at the end, right? Will I sing tomorrow? And then if you want to say the short, it's yes, I will sing. No, I won't sing. If you want to put this together, right? Will not can be also said won't. Okay, and so there, you're just moving this auxiliary through the sentence to control the grammar and control your meaning. Okay, so that's another example. That's will do. Okay, future, 2 words, 1 meaning, will do. We'll run, we'll talk, we'll walk, we'll sing, we'll play, we'll educate, we'll teach, we'll learn. It doesn't matter what verb you put there because this is reality, is a meaning, okay? And the verb is the action and you put those together to create an action in a reality, in meaning, okay? Let's do another one. And we'll just do this one more because in the future, I will make some videos of individual auxiliaries. This is just a short introduction to the idea of it. Okay, so let's do one of my favorites. Let's do this one. Be, do, ing. And now you can see why this piece is here, because sometimes we need a suffix, okay? And usually we see an S, ing, or an ed are common in English, but you can see here, be doing. So say that at home. Be doing, right? So you can say someone is doing something. I am doing something. You are doing something. She is doing something. Someone is doing something. 2 words, 1 meaning. So what does it mean? Well, it means right now and not finished. So it's going and going and going. So for example, I am teaching now. Be doing. Am teaching. Okay, so the verb is right here. Okay, it's inside those 2 words. And you can put any verb here in English and have the meaning now and not finished. Okay, so that's in English they call it present continuous or present progressive sometimes, I think. I'm not even sure anymore because I call it be doing. Okay, so this is the grammar, this is the meaning, this is the form, it's everything. You don't need another name. Be doing. I am doing something. Okay, so now we can add any verb here and we can say I am. We do have to have agreement, but it's not subject-verb agreement. It's actually subject-auxiliary, right? You have to make sure your auxiliary matches the subject. So I am, and then whatever verb you want. So I can say speak, and then the ing comes down because the ing and the be are together. You cannot separate them. It's always be doing. It's never be do, right? This would be do. You see? Be do. That doesn't work. So it's these two things are always together. And that's how you get the meaning of now and not finished yet. Okay? And then, so this is the strong and the normal version. So I am speaking, right? You can make it strong with your voice, okay? I am speaking now, I am speaking to you, I am speaking online, right? And then we can go through the functions, right? What are they? The negative. So we can say I am not speaking, okay? And again, the ing and the be doing, be not doing. Okay, it all goes together. Then we can make questions by taking the auxiliary and the subject and switching them. Okay, and then we get am, I, and then speaking. And the ing, I always put it in red because that's part of the auxiliary. So this is the auxiliary, be doing. Someone is doing something, okay? And again, what's the meaning of that? Now and not finished yet, okay? What are you doing? I'm shopping at the store, right? If you're talking on the phone, that's how you talk about the now when it's not finished, okay? So I think I'm going to stop there, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just quickly, because that's a lot for one day, and I'm just going to quickly write up here the auxiliaries that we learned today. So we learned, and I'm going to put do in brackets, we learned the simple present. That's what they call it in your books. Okay, or do, okay? Now, it's in brackets because sometimes you use it. I do shop online. I do practice English every day. I do practice English every day, right? Or I run. I do run, right? So there's the one of them is strength, and if not, you just join them together, okay? The next one we learned was, I think, what they call simple future simple, I think. See, I don't use these words anymore because I would just say this is will do. Okay? And then the last one that we learned today would have been, I think it's called present continuous in the grammar books, but I don't use that very much anymore because I like to call it be doing. Okay, so there's 3 good auxiliaries for you to use, and you can see that it just, right, it follows down. This is your verb right here. Any verb in English you can put here, and then these are your auxiliary pieces here. And you can learn them individually. Do, right? I do it. I do it. I do run to school. I run to school. Will do. I will go to school. I will learn English. Be doing. I am teaching. You are watching a video. And so do, will do, be doing. And we'll talk about more auxiliaries later in another video. I hope this helps. You can always go back and watch it again if you're a little confused, or put questions in the chat. If you liked the video and if you thought it was helpful, give it a like. And thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.